You know the adage, never work with children or animals, which is why we have sent our reporter James Bennett to a new shark and stingray feeding centre that's opening in Melbourne today. James, where on earth are you? There's a stingray right behind you, mate.
Watch out.
I'm from the airport and I'm no longer with politicians, so I figure that I'm probably just as safe here as anywhere. I'm in the pool at the Australian Shark and Ray Feeding Centre, and we've just had an opportunity before to have a chat with a tawny nurse shark who very friendly creature, and now we're here with the black stingrays. These ones have only been out of the wild 6 weeks, and they're actually the largest species of stingray in the world, these ones. Not this particular one right in front of us here, but that's how big they can grow. Now with me here I've got Andrew Tyndale from the centre. Andrew, tell us about these animals. They've got a bit of a misunderstood reputation.
Sharks and rays definitely do. I mean, as you can see, they're quite placid animals. They're very intuitive and interested in us, especially with a bit of squid. Yeah, no, they're a lot of fun. I mean, the centres are designed to get people in with them and understand that they're not big scary monsters of the deep. They're quite gentle and placid creatures.
Is this the species which Steve Irwin met his end with?
Look, I mean, no one really knows, I don't think. You know, I imagine it had to be quite a large ray. But I think these are a temperate water species, so they're unlikely to be up there.
Because that barb just went right in front of us then. It's, I guess, a bit of a revelation for me and for a lot of people to realise that you can be around them without necessarily needing to fear for your life. Yeah,
well, I mean, all our rays don't have a barb, so you're safe there. But they don't use it anyway. Like it's there as a last measure of defence. You know, when we got these guys, they're, you know, as I say, the commercial fisherman catches them. They're not interested in using their barb unless it's a life-threatening situation. So, you know, and that's where most people get stung by a barb.
And most people have that impression with sharks as well that you know, it's essentially stay well clear or else, you know, you risk coming back out of the water without a finger. How many species are there of sharks that don't really fit that bill?
I think all of them, really. I mean, you've got to remember that, you know, somewhere between 2 and 3 billion times in Australia someone goes in the water, and you've got an average of 2 bites a year. It's a very unusual and, you know, accidental response for a shark to come and bite a person. We're not on their food list. 94% of shark bites are single bite events. Okay, so they're not eating us, they're just mistaking us for someone else. And certainly the sharks here in the new centre in Melbourne, you know, they're only interested in the squid and the fish. That's it.
And what species are they?
We've got over 8 species of sharks and ray here. They range from 15 centimetres to 3 metres and 10 centimetre wide rays to the 2 metre wide variety.
Do you hope to be able to educate people a bit along those lines?
Well, that's what we're all about. It's the best way to educate people is get them in here, see how, you know, beautiful and friendly they are, and all of a sudden the fear goes. I mean, the fear goes, people aren't leaving these animals on the beach to die just because they've caught them, or they don't think it's acceptable that 400 million sharks be fished from the waters, or the shark finning industry is an acceptable industry.
That is a big point, isn't it, that a lot of species are under a pretty severe threat?
Oh, the vast majority of shark species are under threat. They're a very slow breeding species, and, you know, you think if you're taking somewhere between 100 and 400 million out of the water every year, populations have to be declining rapidly.
Well, Andrew, thanks very much. Michael and Virginia, it may not be lunch, but, you know, we've certainly had a good time anyway, and we'll come out with all appendages.
James, you've gone white. You know, you're a really pale shade of white at the moment.
No, James, you're fine. You know, James, you know how to handle this. You know how to handle this. You've worked in ABC newsrooms before. They're just like that.
What was it?
Thanks, guys.
What was it like feeding that shark? You looked, how should I say, slightly anxious.
Oh, look, you know, I was fairly happy that there was a bamboo stick of at least a foot or so in between me and the mouth.
It was a pretty big mouth, though.
James Bennett, we'll leave it there. Thanks so much. He's done very well, and he seems to have survived both the stingrays and the sharks intact. Look, a shark tank. It's just like any workplace in Australia, really, isn't it?